story begins with a happy family celebrating Ben's birthday out in the open sea. Everyone is joyful. Ben's mother, Julia, jumps into the water to swim while Ben and his father, Tom, stay on the boat trying to catch fish. Suddenly, something strange happens. Julia feels a massive creature circling deep below her. She looks around but sees nothing. Then, in an instant, something drags her deep underwater. At the same time, the equipment on the boat begins shaking violently and even changes direction, as if some invisible force is pushing it. Tom and Ben don't notice anything unusual because they are distracted by the fish. Julia drifts far away from the boat. She gasps for air and screams for help. But because she is so far away, Tom and Ben cannot hear her. She realizes the water around her is pulling back. The ocean is disappearing rapidly. The family's daughter, Cassie, has headphones on. Julia screams, "Cassie!" But Cassie hears nothing. Luckily, Tom finally hears a faint cry and spots Julia. He dives into the water and swims toward her. Ben drives the boat to help them. They manage to pull Julia back on board just in time. Tom gets angry at Cassie for not paying attention. She apologizes and explains that she had her headphones on. Tom warns the family, no one swims without telling anyone. That night, they prepare to resume Ben's birthday celebration. Later, Cassie receives a video call from her boyfriend. He looks terrified. He warns them to return to land immediately because something huge and dangerous is happening all over the world. Behind him, Cassie sees a huge storm destroying the city. The call suddenly disconnects. Cassie rushes to tell her parents. While checking the boat, they notice a terrifying sight: sharks and whales circling their boat. This is impossible because such creatures don't exist in this region. Tom, who is an ocean expert, knows what this means. When whales appear outside their territory, it signals a massive storm. Suddenly, something gigantic hits their boat. Tom jumps into the water to check the damage and returns wounded on his shoulder. The engine is broken. They are stuck in the ocean with no communication signal and food for only 4 days. Suddenly, they hear a loud roar from above. A meteor falls directly toward them. Tom takes a risk and starts the broken engine. It works and they escape the meteor's impact. But the engine dies again permanently. They then discover that the meteors are actually satellites falling from space. This explains why communication signals are blocked worldwide. Another satellite falls toward them. They hide inside the boat. A massive explosion occurs. Everything shakes, then darkness. They wake up injured, but alive. The boat has holes everywhere, yet no water enters. Confused, they step outside and discover something unbelievable. The entire ocean has disappeared. Where there was once water, now there are deep cracks, trenches, and the dry floor of the sea. Ben collapses crying, thinking something terrible has happened to Cassie's boyfriend. Suddenly, Tom manages to connect with a submarine captain named NATO. He says he survived because he was deep underwater. He warns them that in 1 week, the ocean will return. And when it does, the waves will be massive enough to destroy everything. The captain says he can take only 2 people because the submarine has limited space. Tom makes the most painful decision of his life. He asks the captain to take his children. Tom says he will stay with the boat. The captain agrees and sends his location. Tom tells his family that if they walk continuously, they can reach the submarine in 2 days. The next morning, they begin walking. Suddenly, a stranger appears, begging for help. Tom approaches him, but the man suddenly stabs Tom and kills him. Julia pulls the kids inside the boat and locks them in the cabin. The stranger breaks into the boat, searching for them. Julia escapes through a broken section of the boat and hides. She kills the man's dog to protect her children. Moments later, she is discovered, but Cassie attacks the killer with a flare gun, giving them time to escape. The boat catches fire behind them, and they run away, grieving over Tom's death. They kept running until they were exhausted. When they looked back, the killer was still behind them. They continued onward until they reached an area where the water had turned into poison. Crossing it could kill them, but Julia told them they had no choice. They crossed the acidic ground, and it burned them badly. Ben became dehydrated. He drank the last drops of water, but remained thirsty. Cassie said they might be going the wrong way, that maybe there was no submarine, but Julia silenced her, saying, "Just move forward. I will save you." They continued walking and found the wreckage of an old airplane. Inside, Julia took out the family photo from the previous night. Seeing it reminded them of Tom. They could not believe how much had changed in just one day. They fell asleep inside the plane. During the night, Cassie heard a noise. She peeked outside and saw the killer approaching again. She quickly pretended to sleep. As the killer tried to attack, Julia struck him from behind with all her strength. This time, Julia fought like a lioness and killed him completely. The family slept peacefully for the first time. But the next morning, they found something terrifying. The killer's body was shredded apart. Something had eaten him from the inside out. Julia realized that deadly creatures were nearby. They had to move fast. Julia checked the map. Ben wandered off and drank from a pond. Julia screamed not to drink it, but he had already swallowed the poisonous water. Ben became seriously ill. They made a shelter. Soon they heard strange clicking sounds. Outside, an enormous herd of giant crabs was coming toward them. They ran. Ahead, they saw a huge cargo ship sitting on the dry ocean floor. Many survivors were hiding inside the containers. Julia, Cassie, and Ben ran toward them, begging to be let inside, but the survivors refused to open the doors. The crabs approached rapidly. With no choice left, they climbed on top of the containers. A crab cut Julia's leg, but she managed to climb up. She tied a scarf around her wound and fainted. The crabs broke through the container and killed the survivors inside. Morning arrived. Cassie and Ben were gone. Julia panicked, thinking they had died, but they returned. They had gone to collect weapons and food. The crabs had left, so they searched the container safely. Julia contacted the captain. He said similar creatures had attacked him and that he was badly injured. He couldn't help them. He fired a flare so they could follow the direction, but getting to him was difficult. They had to cross dangerous rocks where crabs could ambush them again. Cassie asked what would happen to Julia because the submarine had space for only 2 people. Julia said they would talk about it when they reached. But then a landslide occurred. A heavy rock crushed Julia's leg. Cassie didn't want to leave her, but Julia forced her to promise to take Ben and go. Cassie carried Ben and ran toward the submarine. When they reached it, no one was there. They pounded on the hatch. The captain came out, bleeding heavily. He said the submarine had room for all 3 of them because he was dying and wouldn't survive the journey. Cassie immediately ran back to save Julia. Crabs swarmed. Julia fired her weapon until she ran out of bullets. A crab jumped at her, but Cassie arrived just in time and saved her. They escaped together and reached the submarine. The 3 of them climbed inside as the monstrous crabs chased them. Then they saw it, a gigantic ocean wave returning. The wave struck with unimaginable force. The submarine spun violently and everything went dark. Later they woke up. The submarine was no longer underwater. It had been carried by the wave into a destroyed city. A city that proved one thing: humanity had been wiped out from the land. The movie ends with Julia, Cassie, and Ben inside the submarine, drifting through a dead world. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in the next video.